So, ready to supercharge your English vocabulary. We're talking
Uh-huh.
not just good, but seriously impressive.
Yeah, like moving from okay to, whoa, they're eloquent.
Exactly. And that's what this deep dive is all about. We're going to equip you with 60 powerful words.
Words you can actually use, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't some dusty dictionary deep cut.
It's about sounding smarter and speaking more confidently in everyday life.
In emails, presentations, even just casual chats.
Think of it as your secret weapon to making a real impact with your words.
Love that. Okay, so let's break down this arsenal, starting with descriptive adjectives.
Ah, yes, the words that make your language pop,
Instead of just smart, you could say someone is astute.
which implies, like, real sharpness, not just book smarts.
Right. It suggests good judgment, too.
Exactly. And that subtlety, that shift in word choice, changes how you're perceived.
Makes you sound sharper yourself, probably.
For sure. Like, imagine writing a business email. You describe a colleague as astute.
Ooh, subtle bragging.
It implies you see them as insightful, adds to their credibility, and yours by association.
That's a great point. I never thought of it that way.
It's choosing the right tool for the job. Right.
You wouldn't use a hammer to screw in a light bulb, would you?
Nope. Now, let's say you're describing something imaginative, fun.
Instead of just random, what could we use?
Whimsical comes to mind. Evokes playfulness, creativity.
Ooh, I love that. Paints a more vivid picture.
It's like adding a sprinkle of magic to your language.
Could it ever be bad, though? Like in a super serious setting?
Good question. It highlights how context matters.
Whimsical is great for creative writing, casual talk.
But maybe not a formal business report where straightforward is key.
So it's balance, right? Descriptive, but appropriate to the situation.
Absolutely. Okay, now let's power up. Talking verbs, action words.
Verbs, the engines of our sentences.
They gotta have oomph.
Yeah, how do we make them pack a punch?
Instead of supported an idea, say you bolstered it.
Bolstered sounds way more impressive, doesn't it?
Right. Not passive agreement, you actively strengthened it.
Like you added some muscle to that idea. What else makes us sound persuasive?
How about spreading information? Instead of just spread, use disseminated.
Ooh, disseminated. Sounds official, strategic.
Exactly. It implies wider reach, deliberate action.
Not just gossiping, I'm disseminating vital intel.
And that brings up a key point. The right verb clarifies meaning.
No room for misunderstanding, that's good.
Like, mitigate means reduce severity, while exacerbate makes it worse.
Huge difference there, yeah. The wrong verb can totally change what you meant. Okay, so we've got picture-painting adjectives, action-packed verbs. Now what about nouns, the brainy stuff?
Nouns, yeah, for intelligent conversations.
How do we sound smarter with nouns? Spill the secret.
Choose nouns that handle complex ideas subtly. Like, instead of a problem, you face a dilemma.
Dilemma does sound more sophisticated.
It suggests tough choices, no easy answers.
Not just a flat tire, it's a whole existential dilemma.
Right? Which can actually be helpful sometimes.
Oh, how so?
Say, in a business meeting, a complex deal
You frame it as a dilemma. What happens?
encourages thoughtfulness, collaboration, instead of rushing to a fix.
So it's less confrontational, more intellectual vibe.
Exactly. Another one, instead of contradiction, use paradox.
Ooh, paradox. Like something that sounds impossible, but maybe it's true.
Exactly. A seemingly absurd statement that could still hold truth.
It's like, this can blow your mind, but makes you want to lean in and listen.
Right. Using these nouns shows you can handle complex concepts.
So it's not just sounding smart, it's thinking smart.
Now we got to talk about sounding like a native speaker, right?
Idioms, phrasal verbs. Those are tricky, but fun.
They add color, personality, but
Yeah.
tricky.
Meaning's not always literal. Got to be careful.
But mastering them, that's key to fluency.
Okay, hit me with some idioms I can use right away to impress people.
How about jump on the bandwagon to join a popular trend?
Jump on the bandwagon. Perfect for all those things that suddenly everyone's doing.
Right, like a cultural wave you can't escape.
And it's not always negative, is it?
Sometimes it's just recognizing a good opportunity.
Like, hey, everyone's making sourdough bread. Maybe I should try it.
Okay, how about cut to the chase?
I hear that one a lot, but not 100% sure what it means.
Means get straight to the point, no wasted time.
Like a verbal shortcut. Skip the fluff, get down to business.
Precisely. Here's one for social situations. Break the ice.
Oh, like when you're meeting new people, it's awkward.
You do something to start conversation, ease the tension.
It's like metaphorically breaking that frozen barrier between you.
Exactly. And these are just the beginning. There are tons more out there.
But you said they can be tricky. What mistakes do people make with idioms?
Using them wrong or in the wrong situation.
Like break a leg. For good luck might not translate well in every culture.
Yeah, you got to be careful not to accidentally offend someone.
So it's understanding the culture behind the idiom, not just the words themselves.
Now, want to add some extra oomph to your sentences.
Okay, I'm listening.
We're talking adverbs for emphasis.
The seasoning, the spice, the drama. Bring it on.
One powerful one is adamantly.
Yeah.
Like, she adamantly refused to compromise.
Adamantly, that's serious conviction.
Right. You're drawing a line, not backing down.
Okay, that's intense. What about something more, like, deep and meaningful?
Profoundly works there. Deep impact, transformative.
So profoundly is more than just surface level. It really changes you.
Now, want to inject some caution. Little skepticism.
Ooh, good for those I'm not so sure moments.
Skeptically is your word.
Like he listened skeptically, raising an eyebrow.
Exactly. But remember, use adverbs carefully. Don't overdo it.
Right. Too much spice ruins the dish.
A well-placed adverb highlights too many just clutter things up.
So balance again, just like with everything else we've talked about.
Ready to dive even deeper? We've just scratched the surface here.
I'm so ready. My brain is already feeling more articulate.
Back for more. Excellent. Let's keep unearthing these vocabulary gems.
I'm so ready. Part 1 already has me thinking differently about adjectives, like, wow.
So let's add some more to your toolbox. How about meticulous?
Meticulous. That sounds very precise.
It is. Someone who pays incredible attention to detail.
Like, more than the average person would.
Oh yeah, way more. A surgeon during an operation, that kind of focus.
Or, I don't know, someone organizing their sock drawer by color gradient.
Exactly. But it's not always positive, you know.
Oh, interesting. Too much of a good thing.
Depends on the context, right? Meticulousness can be great.
But if you're so focused on tiny details that you miss the big picture...
Then it becomes a problem. Like a manager who can't see the forest for the trees.
Okay, so balance again. It's a recurring theme here.
Life lesson and a vocabulary lesson, all in one.
I like it. Okay, what about the word candid? That seems popular these days.
Candid is all about honesty. Straightforward, even if it's a bit blunt.
So no sugarcoating, just straight talk.
Exactly. It can be refreshing, especially when people are often afraid to be direct.
So being candid is about being genuine, even if it makes some people uncomfortable.
It's valuing truth over, like, trying to please everyone.
Makes sense. Okay, now for a word that sounds intense. Vehement.
Ooh, yeah, vehement is powerful. It's feeling something strongly.
Like passionately arguing for a cause you believe in.
Exactly. But think about it. Could too much vehemence be bad?
Interesting point. Like if you're trying to win someone over...
And you come on too strong, might push them away.
So passion's good, but maybe temper it with a little logic and respect.
Think of a lawyer giving a closing argument.
They got to be vehement to defend their client.
But also calm and reasoned, or the jury won't buy it.
Okay, that's a good example. Balance, yet again.
Now for something unpredictable. Erratic.
Ooh, I relate to that one. Life feels pretty erratic these days.
Erratic is all over the place, no clear pattern.
Stock market, weather, my sleep schedule, all erratic.
But here's the thing. It's not always negative.
Oh, really? Give me an example of good erratic.
Think about a jazz musician improvising a solo.
Their playing might seem erratic to someone who likes classical music.
But that's what makes it exciting. Unpredictable, keeps you on your toes.
Okay, so even words that sound negative can have a flip side.
Context is everything. Words are tools, you gotta know how to use them.
That's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just memorizing words.
It's understanding how language works.
Exactly. Now, more verbs. I need more action words.
Verbs are key. Remember bolster and disseminate from part 1.
Oh yeah, those were good.
Here's one that's useful, but not in a good way. Exacerbate.
Exacerbate. That sounds like it makes things worse.
It does. The situation was exacerbated by, and then you give the reason.
Like adding fuel to the fire, making the problem even bigger.
You see it a lot in news, explaining complex issues.
Now, what about the opposite? Like making things better?
Mitigate is your word. Reducing the severity of something.
Damage control. Not solving the whole problem, but lessening the impact. That's important in so many fields.
Disaster relief, yeah. Or even just everyday life, mitigating stress, arguments.
I need to use mitigate more. Sounds very in control.
Now for one that makes you sound super smart. Scrutinize.
Scrutinize. That's careful examination, right?
Exactly. Looking for clues, details others might miss.
Detectives scrutinize a crime scene. Scientists scrutinize data.
It implies thoroughness, attention to detail, like you're using a magnifying glass.
Okay, that's a good one for when I want to sound impressive.
Now for something a bit sneakier, undermine.
Undermine sounds kind of shady.
It can be. Weakening something gradually, often secretly.
Like rumors undermining someone's reputation.
Exactly. Or constant criticism undermining someone's confidence.
It's subtle but powerful. You don't see it coming until the damage is done.
Let's switch gears to something more, heartwarming.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Commiserate.
Yeah.
To share in someone's sorrow.
Commiserate. That's about empathy, right?
Exactly. When a friend is going through something tough, you commiserate with them.
It's that feeling of, I get it, I'm here for you. Very human.
Okay, last verb for now. Illuminate.
Illuminate. Makes me think of light bulbs, ideas.
It's about making something clearer, easier to understand.
Like a good teacher illuminates a complex topic for their students.
Or a well-written article illuminates a current event.
It's bringing something out of the darkness into the light.
Here, finally, a simple but important one. Reiterate.
Reiterate means to repeat something.
Right.
But for emphasis.
Exactly. To make sure it's really sunk in, no room for misinterpretation.
Like, I want to reiterate, this is very important.
Okay, so tons of verbs, each with its own flavor.
I'm feeling very empowered verb-wise.
Now, ready for some noun power? Level up those conversations.
All right, we've tackled those vivid adjectives, those dynamic verbs. We even dipped our toes into the world of idioms.
Right. But there's this other category of words, kind of like the unsung heroes of good communication.
The behind-the-scenes crew making everything run smoothly.
Exactly. Connector words. They might seem small, but they're essential.
Connector words. Okay, give me an example. What do they do?
They help guide your listener or reader through your thoughts, create a flow.
Ah, so without them, it'd be like a bumpy road all over the place.
Exactly. Choppy, disjointed, hard to follow.
Okay, I'm starting to see how these little words matter a lot.
They're like the architects of clear communication.
Okay, so which connector words should we be paying attention to?
Let's start with ones that signal a contrast, like shifting gears in your argument.
Ooh, I like that. Turning a corner, but smoothly.
Words like, however, nevertheless, on the other hand.
However is definitely one I use a lot in writing.
It's a classic. Signals, okay, here comes a different perspective.
But what about nevertheless? It sounds more formal, maybe.
Nevertheless has a bit more oomph to it.
Like, despite what I just said, this other point still stands strong.
Exactly. It emphasizes that your argument is still valid, even considering counterpoints.
So if I'm in a debate, nevertheless is my secret weapon.
You got it. Now, on the other hand, is a bit different.
It sounds more like, let's look at both sides of this.
Right. It's more balanced, presents alternatives without necessarily picking a side.
Like, here's option A, and on the other hand, we have option B.
Perfect example. It encourages thoughtful consideration.
Okay, so we've got contrast covered. What else is there?
Adding information, building on what you've already said.
Like, and another thing, but fancier, right?
Words like moreover, furthermore, in addition.
Ooh, those sound impressive. Layering those ideas, making the argument stronger.
Each one has a slightly different nuance, though.
Oh, like what? Give me the moreover versus furthermore breakdown.
Moreover adds weight to your argument. Like, this next point is even more convincing.
It's the mic drop moment, but for arguments.
While furthermore is more about expanding on the previous point.
Providing more detail, going deeper into that specific idea. So it's not just a random list of points, they're connected.
Exactly. Now, in addition is the most versatile, I'd say.
Just a simple way to add another piece of information.
Yeah, it's like, here's another thing to consider along with everything else.
Keeps the conversation moving smoothly. Okay, so contrast, addition. What else?
Cause and effect. Essential for clear reasoning.
Ah, explaining how one thing leads to another.
Words like therefore, consequently, as a result.
These are like the logic connectors showing why things happen.
So instead of just stating facts, you're building a chain of reasoning.
But those words all sound kind of similar. What are the subtle differences?
Therefore is the most direct, like this must be true because of what came before.
It's a very confident conclusion based on the evidence you've given.
While consequently suggest a more indirect relationship.
Like there might be other factors involved. It's not always so simple. Okay, so it's cause and effect, but with a bit more nuance.
Exactly. And as a result is somewhere in between, I'd say.
So we've got options, depending on how direct we want to be.
That's the beauty of language, right? So many tools to choose from.
This has been amazing. Seriously, my brain is buzzing with all these new connections.
That's what we aim for. And remember, the more you pay attention to these words,
The more I'll start using them naturally without even thinking about it.
you got it. It becomes second nature.
Well, I feel equipped to go out there and conquer the world, one connector word at a time.
That's the spirit. Remember, the power of language is in your hands.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into powerful words. We hope you've enjoyed this linguistic adventure.
And until next time, keep those words flowing. Keep those connections strong.